Hi guys, so welcome to my first YouTube video. In this video, I wanted to share my first ever completed watercolor sketchbook. At the beginning of this year, I set a goal for myself, and my goal was to finish a sketchbook completely from front to back by the end of the year. It's something that I've seen a lot of other artists do in the past, and especially going into art full-time, it was a big goal of mine. So I decided to, try to take on this challenge and actually, finish a whole sketchbook within the span of the year. So I love traveling a lot, and a lot of my paintings are inspired by the places that I travel to. This one back here is from Seville, Spain, and I just finished that one yesterday. A lot of my paintings end up being influenced by where I travel to. So basically throughout this whole sketchbook, it's a lot of the places that I've traveled to that have touched me. So they're all pictures of places that I've gone to and pictures that I've taken with my own camera, and then I just turn it into a watercolor painting. So most of these paintings are more expressive and less detailed as my more professional paintings, like this one here. For these, I try to go for a realistic look, but for my watercolor paintings, it's more of like an expression. I just want to convey the feeling of being there. I'm a lot more loose with my brushwork. It's just more fun. I usually do these paintings when I'm on the plane, and it's nice because I have this little watercolor travel kit. I have this watercolor travel kit that I take with me everywhere I go, and it's nice because it's super small and I don't have to pack a lot of stuff. So you open it up inside. It's a little messy because I've had it for a while. It comes with a sponge, some mixing palette space, and then a marker, a small detail brush. This is the detail brush. Usually when I get it wet, it becomes a much finer tip. I'll just curl the top and it'll get much finer. And then my watercolor pen. So these are really nice because I don't need an open glass of water. All I do is I fill water in this tube part right here, and then you squeeze at the end right here and water comes out. And it's super nice for watercolor painting. It's less of a mess, and I don't have to have an open container of water in order to do the watercolors. So then on the bottom is all the paints. So what I do is I just squirt out some of the water from here onto whatever color I want to use to paint, and then I mix it there and put it on the little canvas. And that's the other nice thing, is that these watercolor books, they're very small. So, and they even come with a little stretchy part for a pencil to sketch, because usually the way I start my paintings is with a little sketch, and then I erase the graphite and I paint over it. So with that being said, we can start going through the sketchbook. So the first page is a little fox painting and a painting of Antigua, Guatemala. These were the first watercolor paintings that I ever did, and I was just experimenting with the new set that I got. I got it for Christmas, and so I wanted to experiment with what the colors looked like how different techniques of using watercolor. So these are definitely a lot more amateur than the other paintings that I did as I started to get more experience. I experimented with more techniques with the different textures of the rocks. So I went to Antigua, Guatemala for my graduation trip, actually, so that was really fun. And the next page is, I actually ended up messing up this page and I really didn't like it, so I painted over it in white. And then once you paint over watercolor paper with acrylic paint, it doesn't absorb the colors as well, so I just had to do some simple painting. And then same with this side, I had to paint over it with acrylic paint, so I did a much more simple painting. The next pages, they're actually my favorite pages. These were inspired by the houses in Guatemala, and there's a lot of bougainvilleas everywhere, and so I wanted to capture that in the paintings. So here's one side. And then I've experimented with the shadow here a lot. So a lot of this painting, I experimented with using darker tones and blues for shadows. And then also with the atmospheric depth, with having like the blue in the background to show that this little ridge here is in the background. And then on this side, I did a lot of the flowers, and then again experimenting with the shadows by putting blue as the undertone so that it shows that it's a shadow, and the doorway, there isn't light coming there because the sun is coming from above. The next page, this was a parrot that we saw in our hotel in Guatemala, so I took that picture of him and then I ended up painting him. And then this painting here, it's actually supposed to be Cartagena, but my mom is from South America. She's from Bolivia, and I wanted to incorporate some of that traditional like Spanish architecture inside my watercolor sketchbook, because I did go to Bolivia to visit my family during this time when I painted this specific painting. So I decided to go ahead and include this painting of like the architecture and just like the old Spanish feel that you get in South America. The next paintings, they're from the Dolomites. So my sister, for her 15th birthday, we do the quinceañera. So both me and my sister had the option of choosing either a party or a trip for our 15th birthday. So I ended up choosing a trip for mine, and she ended up choosing a trip for hers as well when it was her turn. And she wanted to go to Austria. So my dad planned this really nice trip. We landed in Germany, and then we went to the Italian Dolomites, and from there we went to Vienna and then London. So a lot of these next paintings are going to be from the European countryside. So these two are inspired by pictures that I took in the Dolomites. And then this was a little church in the Dolomites, the Italian Dolomites. So we went to the border with Italy, and we just crossed the border and we saw this beautiful landscape. And there was this very cute little church there, so I wanted to capture this painting. And then we went to a medieval castle, and so that's where this one came from. This was the entrance to the medieval castle. So here I experimented a lot with the stone texture and just a lot of texture in this painting. I feel like there's a lot of different textures with the leaves and the stone and then the wood. So this one's very fun. It's not super realistic, but I like all the movement that there is in the painting. And then on this side, it's another church that we captured on our way back to Austria. Then we came back to Florida, which is where I'm from. So we got some paintings of the beach, and I love sandpipers. Sandpipers are like my favorite beach bird, and I think they're so cute, the way they run across the beach, and they're just so small. This is just, I loved how the grasses looked and the flowers in the grass, so I wanted to capture that in this painting here. For fall, I'd never seen like fall foliage before, and it's really funny because everyone there, they always take it for granted. They're like, oh yeah, the leaves are orange, red, right? But we specifically, me and my husband went on this trip to New Hampshire to see the leaves change color, because it's something that we both have never seen before. Growing up in Florida, it's hot all the time and leaves don't really change color. So we took this trip up to New Hampshire and we saw so many beautiful leaves. It was amazing, like the perfect fall trip. And while we were there, we went up to the mountains, and so I made this panoramic painting of the whole ridge, the whole mountain ridge, and all the beautiful fall colors that we saw. And the next couple paintings are also inspired by fall because it was just so beautiful. I couldn't get enough of painting them. So lots of color here, because I feel like in the pictures that we took, the color didn't really translate to the photos. So I really wanted to capture the color in my paintings, which is why they're so saturated. But we stopped by this river on the side of the highway, and we were so happy we stopped because it ended up being one of the most beautiful places we saw, which is really funny. And then this is one of the roads down the Kinkamangas, and I painted some of the birch trees. So you can see I painted their trunks white. And I love nature and animals, so I always wanted to include a little animal painting. So there's a little cute deer. I wanted to go more cartoonish, cutesy with that one. And then we went into winter, and even though I didn't travel here, it was December in Florida and it's hot, so I was dreaming of the snow. My dream is to one day live in the mountains, or at least like have a cabin in the mountains that I can go visit. So I decided to paint that, and we're almost all the way through. So the next 2 pages, they're from Charleston, South Carolina. I took these pictures of just houses that we saw while we were walking. So this first one is a little alleyway. I thought their alleyways are so beautiful. The alleys, they just have so many plants, and I love the little lampposts that they have, and I took so many pictures of beautiful alleys that we saw there, so it was very nice. And then I love the way that they would make their flower boxes, so I took a picture of that, and then I really liked the picture that I took, so I decided to paint it. But just like the warmth of the stone with like the green shutters, it was very cute. And I love the charm of the old town. So I grew up in St. Augustine, and so we grew up with a lot of that old town charm, and that was really nice about Charleston. Next, another page I messed up, so I just did the same thing and painted a different talavera design, but I still think it looks nice. And then I painted this gazebo that was in Charleston. This one's a little more simplistic than my other ones. It's not my favorite, but that's okay. We went to the beach again. People were parasailing this day, and I just thought that they looked so like fun and colorful. And there was a really tiny little lighthouse way back in the background, so I wanted to include them. I love the colorful parasails against the bright blue water, and I saw this beautiful bird in the sky. I didn't know what type of bird it was, so I ended up looking it up, and then I just really liked it, so I ended up painting it. I like how blue the sky is there, and how the bird like really pops against the blue sky. We went to the Pacific Northwest, so I made this painting of Mount Hood. I love the Pacific Northwest. One of the business trips we took when I was 15 was to Seattle. And as soon as I saw Mount Rainier, I just fell completely in love. We only went there for one day, but I knew that I had to come back one day. We ended up going back this year in April, and it was amazing. I loved it. I was so happy. My husband took me, and we had the best time. And we extended the trip to go to Mount Hood as well, because I've always wanted to see Mount Hood. So this one is of Mount Hood. And then we went to this lake that was around Mount Hood, and it was around sunset time. So the sun was just shining through the trees, and it looked so beautiful. So I really wanted to capture the feeling of the sunlight coming in through those trees. So I wanted to paint another view of that lake that we saw. So this is the other side of Mount Hood. I painted the lake the way it looks. I don't think I captured the feeling of, you know, being on that lake, but I tried my best. And then there was a very cute little chipmunk on this hike as well, so I had to include him in the little sketchbook. I just love the way he turned out. He's so cute. The last painting of the sketchbook is right here. This is the coast. We went to Olympic after seeing the volcanoes. We went over to Olympic National Park. They're beautiful sea stacks, and just the coast is so amazing. All the rocky ledges and the tidal pools, they're really, really cool. So with that, that's the end of my sketchbook tour. Follow your dreams, and anything is possible with God and faith. So I hope you liked this tour. Thank you so much for watching this video to the end. If you liked it, please like and subscribe. Follow me because I'm going to keep making more YouTube videos. And of course, if you want a print of any of these paintings, feel free to go ahead on my website, which is in the link in the bio. You can get your own print of any of these paintings that we saw today. So thank you so much. If you have any questions about my artwork or how my process, if you want to see more videos of how I do the paintings or a full walkthrough of a watercolor painting from start to finish, I'm actually starting a new sketchbook, another travel sketchbook. It's going to have more paintings of places I've traveled to. So I went to Spain in August and I wasn't able to fit it in the past sketchbook, so I'm starting a new one. So here are my sketches so far, so you can see. These are a little bit more advanced than the ones that I've been doing. Lots of pages to fill out. So if you'd like to see my start to finish process on YouTube and you would be willing to watch the whole video, just let me know. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great day.